Hi, Ivan. Thank you so much for joining us on another episode on Sci-Tech Swiss. How are you today?
Hi, Doreen, and thank you for having me. I'm good, actually very good. It's been a very nice year, and we're starting a new chapter in our company. So yeah, I'm really happy to share about it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really excited to get to know more about that. I'm pretty sure that you have like a lot of updates about words and, about your interesting journey in educating people about technology. And I'm pretty sure that there are also a lot of interesting events there in Dubai.
Yeah, like I can say that's a reason actually why I'm like based in Dubai. Uh, just for the people who don't know, there are just only 3 million people, which is not that much, but the community is very, very like mixed. So you can find basically people from any country, from with a different backgrounds, and like you can find an event for every week where you can meet other people. There are events dedicated to the like marketing, technologies, automotive, so different industries. So yeah, I'm trying to visit the events every like a couple of weeks and meet the new people, show them the technology. So that's how we work. Because otherwise, you will be like just falling inside the bubble and just talk to the same people, and you don't feel what's happening in the world. So yeah, that's an important part of the city.
Yeah, definitely. I agree about a community. So community building, it's actually very important nowadays, regardless of the industry where you're being, more active. So let's start with Word. So this amazing platform. So what is its main purpose? How are you guys inspiring, other users with your platform? And what are you aiming to do this year?
So let's say the world is a like infrastructure for immersive experiences. What it means is that you can build your own story and using the like solutions and technologies we have on the platform. And first of all, we're trying and we actually successfully doing this, uh, delivering this experience for any type of user. So you don't need to be like a Web3 native. You don't need to have a crypto wallet. Sometimes people even struggle to log in, and I'm not speculating. So some people it's very complicated to go through all these procedures. So why not to try to give the augmented reality or virtual environment, like three-dimensional world, or any type of like a first touch with the technology without need to have like a multiple gatekeepers and boarding. Just try it. So the simplicity you have, for example, doing the augmented reality filter on your mask in Instagram, that's why it's so viral. They get like a trillions of views, and most of the people just don't think of it like augmented reality, but it is the first touch. So we believe that's important to have like a scalable technology to deliver the idea of having information in front of you. So at Worlds, we're providing this solution for our brands and for now even for our customers to start doing your own project, start creating your own experience without need to code, to log in, to do those like very complicated setups, just to have like the first intro. That was a goal for us for this, let's say, 1.5 year. That's how we achieved the current success working with the different brands, including Lexus, Amoda, Dubai Culture, Pepsi. So they're doing different, like very different projects, but using the same technology. Of course, I can speak a lot about this because as a co-founder,
Yeah,
but
please go
yeah,
ahead.
just
Of course.
tell me the direction you want to highlight, and of course, maybe it's something you're like the people who listen to the podcast will be most interested in.
What can we really understand when we say digitality, digital assets, digitalization? or digital identity, where you can just be whoever you want to be out there in these 3D words. And when we just play with augmented reality and gamification.
That's probably the most important part of this, because without the native, like basically intuitive feeling that that's something I want, we'll never get the users and the audience, the planetary scale kind of solution for everyone. And all this is very directly connected to the naming of the things. What I mean by that is that back in time, there was an exact moment where the internet was invented. So like we know this day, but it doesn't mean that everyone get it, right? So we just celebrate this day because that's a moment when we get the first network running. But then day by day, different people get this connection, that this like a new planetary scale infrastructure. And now we don't even call it internet. We're not using this word, right? You're never saying I'm going to internet. You're saying let me Google this. I will check it on YouTube or whatever. I will visit the website. It's right there. It's around us. We're using this every day. So we don't need to mention this. So the same for the next step, next destination, next way to communicate with information. Someone can say that that's a spatial computing, because like I have my mobile computer, I'm using my laptop, that's my personal computer, and then the information will go into space, and like one day I will wear the glasses size of my glasses and I will be able to see the information around me. So that's one approach. Another approach is like for a brand, for example, they can think of it like a 3D internet. I already know what my website is like. So now I'll have a 3D website. Okay, that's a good start. What next? Now I'll have a 3D product. That's perfect, because I'm selling this item. So when you get on a website, you will get like a JPEG. I'm selling like, I don't know, any object you see around you, and you more likely you bought it by just looking at the flat image. It will be more comfortable for you to see it in real time in three-dimensional space right in front of you. So this is kind of the different approach for different brands. And then the third and last one, the one you mentioned and the one you're using, and I really appreciate the way you're delivering this term all around the world, the Phygital term. It's very important to have this word, because then we have this connection between the physical and digital. So the Phygital basically helping people to start feeling that it's not about escaping reality, it's not about switching or like a forbidden the real world. It's more about the interplay between these two. So now we're living in a day where different brands, companies, and like a infrastructure, they're using different names for this, but they're all doing the same concept. They're all leading in the same direction, but just unfortunately they still discussing what the right term for this. Or maybe it's even good for us, but very soon I believe that like the earthquake will be over, and we'll like the dust will settle, and we'll see the winners, and including the terminology behind the company delivering this. So yeah, that's my take on let's say explanation of the general words we're using in the industry. But the last thing I want to mention for answering your question is that it's really good if you're doing your first experience, like you open the augmented reality, or you like enter the three-dimensional website, or you get your first like, I don't know, ID, or you start working with a let's say three-dimensional avatar, and then you have this first impression as a kids, like they don't know what the name for this, but they start explaining using very simple words like this, like object on my hand. Perfect. Keep it like this. Keep this feeling of this wandering of the world around you, and that's the best way you can explain it to others, because they will use the same language. If I'm using the spatial computing, probably no one will get what it is. But if I'm saying, oh, like cool stuff, like right in front of your table, oh, okay, cool, what next? So yeah, that's my advice probably for people who want to enter this industry.
Do you really need all the brands to really enter in this kind of world? And is it like just a marketing tool, or is it more than that?
That's a very good question. Thank you, Karina, because that's exactly what happens. What's happening right now, like in the brainstorm sessions all around the world for all the startups and the companies doing this, because they're all trying to figure out like, well, how to do this. So my take on this is that the fact that we're inviting users to the very complicated experiences, it seems a little bit too early. We need to start with a very simple utility, very simple cases, which are so connected with the daily routine of the user, so they can start think of it not like a exactly completely new experience. They need to forget everything they have before and now jump to the new realm with the new friends and new avatars. Some people can do this, and we have this like tens of thousands of people entering the brands built on our platform already. That's, let's say, very early adopters. They are okay to have like an avatar and walk around the virtual world, click on an asset and see this asset as like finished object in a real world. That's a really nice group of people, but still, that's not enough. By not enough, I mean we need to think about these billions of people who never tried and never interested and don't even know that exists. So, what kind of experience we can do for them in using the same tools and like a messengers, the same infrastructure, the same website they're already using, showing them this shift happening where we have like a more like a relationship between the physical and digital world, where we have like a sum of the object becomes three-dimensional. So that's probably the biggest issue on the market right now. So we're offering too much for the audience who are not ready for this, and we just need to start with a utility. And by utility, I mean something you can use, and you can definitely say there are no other way you can do this except using this technology. So that's probably the aha moment. So when you kind of, okay, now I can see my sofa right in front of me, and I can check the exact size of this object. That's probably the simplest example you can get in the industry, and that's old, probably 10 years old, but still we can use this as the simplest way to explain how it works and why you need it. And then step by step, depends on the industry you're working with, you start thinking about what will happen if you have the digital layer on top of the real world. What will happen if you have the storytelling not just as a book, but more like a gamified experience? What will happen when you have your own AI assistant, which will be connected with your ID, and you'll be able to share and data with some brands? So all this kind of insights will come up after you'll get this first simple, useful use case, specifically for you as a regular, general, normal human being living on the world without a single idea of what the metaverse is. So yeah, that's I think the most important thing right now.
Yeah, definitely. I love the answer. And also because a friend of mine, when I had a conversation with her a couple of days ago, she brought up a very interesting topic. So the fact that every year, the focus stays on a different type of technology, or when you're just going to a conference, maybe the first day they're just focusing more on artificial intelligence, they're just focusing on cybersecurity, or they're just focusing on phygital assets in our case. So do you think that this year the focus stays more on artificial intelligence, and what are certain use cases that are really interesting for you that can be adopted in the metaverse?
Yeah, that's definitely the focus. So for this year, the growth was so quick. Like I did not expect that, to be honest. We were testing different types of neural networks many years before, and we are familiar with like basic different approaches for this. And we put it in a roadmap. Like one day we will start doing this, but then boom, it skyrocketed, and the advanced the level of advancedness of like all the systems is just basically shocking. And the way we are using the tools, and I'm calling this the tools because that's probably the best way you can think of it. Not like a something to to be like a Terminator, or but more like a useful tool you can do on a daily basis. So a few days ago, we implement the AI assistant inside a virtual space. So you basically can train your own salesperson, or your own assistant inside the virtual environment. And when you think about the use cases, imagine that you're selling the product, or you're doing education, or you're art gallery. In any type of cases, you can have the basically the avatar, or kind of your representation inside the virtual world, and you can train it on your own data, and you can have real-time voice conversation. That's something already working on our platform. We are offering this to some of our clients, and of course, imagine that in the near future we'll be able to have like conversation with the avatar standing in augmented reality, so you can have like a different type of experience connected to the real world, and then the digital assistant will come to you from the digital world on top of the real world. So that's one. The second one is all about all around the content generation. So we can now use this to generate, for example, the 360 or we can generate a three-dimensional asset instead of just buying this or creating this from scratch, for like a prototyping, for like a showing the sometimes for inspiration. We can generate a 3D asset and put it inside the virtual environment. So it's really helping in the conversation, on early stages of conversation with the client, where we need, before starting the real production, we can in a couple of seconds generate and say, is that what you need? And then we'll do the real work. We cannot use the same assets, but still, that's really helping in a kind of in the production pipeline. So yeah, I think let's focus on these two kind of way we're using the AI at this moment. The first one more like a communication, and the second one more like a generative AI.
Yeah, definitely. And what about using blockchain? Are any additional use cases around here, around the blockchain? Sorry.
Yeah, sure. So we integrated basically the Polygon and Near, the two blockchains inside the platform. So for those creators who want to use this chain, they can basically choose and contact us to get some extra features to connect their creation with the blockchain, to put their creation on the blockchain. But mostly we're experimenting with there are two clients we have on the platform right now, and one client, they're doing their own like set of virtual worlds, and they're trying to sell these virtual worlds using the blockchain. So you can literally buy your virtual environment on the blockchain. This idea is not new. I'm not saying that it's something like so something new, but I'm just saying that as a world, as a kind of this infrastructure, we are allowed to have the brands or companies or creators to experiment. And by what I mean by that is that they can basically connect different models, saying that okay, we're selling this assets using our own solution, but then these assets will start working on worlds. So this kind of vision we're delivering. And also there are one project, they created a collection of 10,000 assets, and they upload it on Worlds. So meaning that you can have all these 10,000 assets in augmented reality. So again, the world's more like infrastructure, and they're using this infrastructure uh, to achieve what they want, and they want to have engagement with their community. So imagine that you can go on a marketplace and connect your wallet and buy the asset to become the part of the community, to become the part of the solution they are offering, and they're doing some additional stuff. If you want, I can explain, but they have some utility behind the project. But then they want to engage the users. So they're saying, okay, you can see your object in augmented reality. You can put it on your table. You can record the content. You can share this in social media. So more like on top of the like engagement level on top of your concept idea or your community.
Definitely, I love that, especially, gamifying this kind of experience and, just throwing yourself in this, augmented reality. But also, another question that I had, uh, can technology be always our friend? And how do we make it our friend? Because I really think that there are some misconceptions out there. Some people might say, oh yeah, the metaverse, or, building these kind of digital assets. Yeah, those are really cool, but this sounds like a kind of luxury. This doesn't really sound like something that I really need. So how do we actually convince people or brands or content creators that this is like the next level? It is kind of marketing tools for our products.
So the way we're delivering this idea to the clients, to the communities, to basically anyone who are interested in working with us, that we're highlighting this, like the history of the communication with information. So we're always saying, okay, do you remember the books? So they're still here. I'm reading the books, like a printed one, and then there are like TV. Sometimes I can check the TV. That's not probably at my home, but I can come to the cafe. There is like a TV with a real like a news coming there from there. So all this inventions always promise to kill the previous one. They're saying now it's over. So now we have a cinema, and we never ever will read the books. And what happened? We still have a book. So the same happens here, but just the scale of the previous or the new media is always bigger. So like the next media, like for example, the internet or mobile platform. Let's take mobile platform. There are more than 8 billion mobile phones in the world. So like basically, each person in the world will have one phone, and the same happens with the next one. As soon as we have a next channel, then basically the whole planet, the whole humanity, and someone will have even 2 devices, right? And that's how it works. So when we think about the metaverse or spatial computing or extended reality, you name it, or Phygital, it's more about the shift, the idea. So if the brand's saying, I don't believe in this, then you always show this, like the history of how it's happened. So the last time the company saying, I'm not doing my website because that's probably, the internet is not the future, the company probably failed, because without the social media channels, without the website, it's very hard to grow. It's very hard to deliver your product. It's very hard to tell your story to the new audience. The same will happen here. The audience who are natively working with information in a different way, the new generation who don't know, like we're trying to click on the printed magazine, the new generation who the programming, not about the coding, more about the programming like a Minecraft, so we can put the different like a three-dimensional objects on top of each other. So that's a new approach to the communication. And like the sooner you will start like preparing your company and your brand, at least with experiment, like just dedicate a single person to do a single experiment with this asset, it's the start of your journey. It will take years, like many years, but then the sooner you'll start, the let's say, the better it will be when the technology will be all around you. And it's always like this, that technology is already here, just not very evenly distributed. And what I mean by that is that uh, it is like you cannot say the exact moment when the technology will be around you. It will be like all around you. So it's not like, okay, on a Friday, the metaverse will be here. No, it's not like this. There are already like a 500 million people monthly joining the Roblox alone, and that's a lot. And then there are trillions of engagements for like augmented reality masks on Instagram filters. And I can keep going saying this extremely large numbers just to prove that it's already happening. But maybe the approach you need to have as a brand or as a creator should like supposed to be different, and that's why we need to start now to experiment, to find a new way of using these technologies or solutions for your needs. So yeah, I hope it was convincing enough
No,
to
definitely.
start.
But a first step, in my opinion, will probably be to present all these kind of use cases and to really organize, for example, as you guys are doing with workshops there in Dubai.
Exactly. That's I think more than a half of the partners and the clients we have at Worlds, they actually uh, meet me or someone from our team on this kind of workshop, lectures, or educational events. So when you like deliver this, like, it's exactly what you're doing now. Maybe someone will listen to this, like, wow, no, that's actually a pretty good idea. So I will probably contact these guys to ask for more and to ask for account or contact them to just have more information. I can send the books, I can send the presentation, I can share all my knowledge, not because I want you to pay me, and more like I want you to share the idea we have at the world. So that's probably the most important.
Make
And of
an
course, we are
impact,
partnering.
right?
Exactly. That's a goal, and that's why we are partnering with the universities like World University in Dubai, one of the like oldest and largest university here, and they originate from the UK, and they have like only in Dubai they have like 10,000 students. So we have like, but every month we're doing the workshop for students for the general audience. We probably very soon will record a video podcast like with all this knowledge
And
to
wait,
share. And so
I hope you guys will
yeah,
invite me so we can record, a podcast session
sure,
there.
absolutely. Yeah, no, we are, and we're working on the concept to have it more like a not just like a face to face, the one we have now. More like sometimes I will be presented as a 3D avatar. One day we can meet inside a virtual environment. One day I can be presented as an augmented reality avatar in front of you. So more like a telling the story about this upcoming future using the tools we have in this upcoming future. So that's a very good way to basically have this to put this idea uh, inside everyone's head.
Yeah, definitely. And I definitely agree about the storytelling part because we have a lot of not just youngsters, but I think that users nowadays, they mentioning about opening books. Of course, I still read books, but definitely when you're just presenting them all sorts of avatars or digital assets. And I think that's it, it even increases like the learning curve. You're presenting something playful and they will definitely remember that.
I studied in Barcelona, and one day the teacher just came to the class and said, "Okay, today I will show you the augmented reality." Like what? And then it was like the huge machine. I cannot say this PC. It's like machine connected with a wire with a like a huge camera. And it's very low quality. Everything is shaking. But then this camera can see the table, and so on the screen you can see that it's not just table, it's a building there. So your mind just starts going like, that's magic, that's the future. We'll have this information. That's happened exactly 11 years ago, and still I'm in a good way, I'm sick with this idea. So I still believe, and like lots of people around me, and basically thousands of creators who are using our tools also believe in this idea. And yeah, I hope we'll get the millions of people using these technologies and solutions for good, for
Yeah,
their needs.
definitely. And I think that also creating like a space, a safe space and environment for them to learn, but at the same time also working on regulations. Like in this case, it could be also about artificial intelligence, about the right use of technology. So in this case, I would like to thank you guys very much. I think that everything that you guys are doing is so inspiring, whether that it's about fashion, retail, education. Thank you so much, Ivan. We had a lot of fun doing this podcast interview.
Thank you so much for Karina for having me. It's yeah, fantastic to have a conversation with you and with your community, because I think we're just in a very similar kind of approach to the future. That's why we having this dialogue, and so yeah, happy to join the podcast.